The future, yes. Okay, so we all go through stress. We all experience stress in a way or another. So it's important to understand stress and to see how we can manage it and how we can overcome stress. Okay. So as we mentioned that to overcome stress, we need to understand what are the symptoms. To overcome stress, we need to understand what are the symptoms. It's not doing a slideshow, right?
No, it's not appearing as a slideshow.
Yeah.
I wonder if you stop sharing and start sharing again, maybe.
No.
It's not doing it.
Okay, sorry for this.
Would you like to email it to me, Laraa? I don't know.
No, it's okay. I'll close the presentation and open it again. Okay.
Great.
Now we're on, right?
Yes.
Okay. So first step is to recognize the symptoms of stress, which are the physical symptoms, the mental, the behavioral, and emotional symptoms. So when we talk about physical symptoms, we talk about a change in sleep pattern, fatigue, digestion changes, headache. Sometimes we feel in في دوخة, we're sweating, we're out of breath, jaw pain, and these are all the physical symptoms that can appear out of stress. وكمان we can experience some mental symptoms like a lack of concentration. ما نقدرش نركز، عندنا على طول أفكار سلبية بتجيلنا فقدان في الذاكرة مؤقت مش فقدان طويل. We have a confusion in taking decision and difficulty as well in making decision. As for the emotional symptoms, ممكن we can fall into depression. We have anxiety, we can have a loss of sense of humor. We're always worrying, we are impatient, we have irritability, and sometimes fits of rage that can outburst anytime. And as for the behavioral symptoms of stress, we can see that we have a change, sometimes a change in appetite. We can overeat, we can ممكن نبطل ناكل خالص. Some people, they taking drugs or alcohol, nail biting, fidgeting, like moving a lot, your hands maybe, your legs, or increase smoking and aggression. So these are the behavioral symptoms that we can experience out of stress. Okay, so what is stress? There is this very simple formula that we will be working around this formula for the rest of the webinar. So stress occurs when the pressure are greater than the resource. Okay, it's the reaction that people have to excessive pressure or demand that are placed upon them. So they feel that they cannot cope with this excessive pressure or demand because they are not equipped with the right resource that can help them to do this. And this is when stress occurs. So if we look at this equation, we will see that we have two parts in this equation. عندنا البريشر، الضغوطات، المتطلبات اللي بنواجهها في الحياة، وعندنا الريسورس او الموارد اللي موجوده عندنا اللي ممكن نستخدمها عشان نقدر نلبي بيها الطلبات والمتطلبات اللي بنواجهها. فلو اشتغلنا sides of the equation وحاولنا ان احنا ازاي نتعامل مع البريشرز بطريقه احسن، how to deal with the pressure, how to reduce the impact of pressure on us, then stress will go down. ولو عرفنا ازاي ان احنا نزود الريسورس الموارد اللي عندنا عشان نقدر نواكب المتطلبات دي، then increasing our resource will help us to reduce stress. So I will spend the rest of the presentation talking about how to handle the pressure, how to handle the resource, to have less stress so we can be more productive and enhance our productivity and reach the result that we want to reach in our life. So if we look at the pressure في الأول، الضغوطات اللي بنواجهها, they can be external and internal stressors. Okay, external, this means that they happen to us, events and situations that occurs outside of us. They can be in our physical environment, social interaction, organizational rules, major life events, and daily hassle. The physical environment, like, for example, the noise, الدوشه اللي بنواجهها طول الوقت، النور اللي ممكن يبقى نور جامد، النور الضعيف ده بيجيب ستريس، الحراره الزايده، الكونفايند سبيسز، ده بالنسبه للفيزيكال انفايرمنت. ممكن يكون بنتعامل مع ناس، الناس دي ممكن تبقى aggressive، ممكن تبقى rude، ممكن تبقى bossy, and this as well can affect us and cause us stress is social interactions بتاعتنا. As well as the organizational rules زي rigid rules or rules that are not really helping me, so it will start to create stress, deadlines, target that I have to achieve. All this can be part of the external stressor as well. Major life events زي جواز، طلاق، ترقية، تغيير في الحالة يعني marital status بتاعنا، health issues, all this can also be part of the external stressors in addition to the daily hassles زي for example الزحمة في الطريق، مش لاقي المفاتيح بتاعتي قبل ما انزل شغلي وانا مستعجل، عربيتي عطلت في السكة وانا رايح الشغل، التايم بريشر اللي بنواجهه في حياتنا. All these are external stressors. Then we have the internal stressors which occurs within us. Okay, and the internal stressors are like the lifestyle choice, the negative self-talk, the mind traps, and the personality traits. For a lifestyle choice, it's like our nutrition, for example, what we eat really affects who we are, the lack of sleep, the overloaded schedules, and the lack of fitness, as well as a negative self-talk, having a pessimistic thinking all the time and looking at نص الكوباية الفاضي بدل نص الكوباية المليان، ان انا طول الوقت بنقد نفسي، بجلد نفسي، over analyze الحاجات اللي بواجهها في حياتي، فكل ده is affecting me and causing me stress. As well as the mind traps, because we control our mind doesn't control us, but if we let it go, it will control us. So our mind can play some traps ويوقعنا كده في يعني في شوية traps زي unrealistic expectation. It makes you want to expect things that are not realistic. إنك تاخد everything personally. إنك you think black or white, all or nothing. Exaggeration. الحاجات اللي ممكن تبقى صغيرة, your mind can make it big inside of you. The stories that you keep on telling yourself inside. Your rigid thinking, not wanting to change, not wanting to think otherwise. And with the flexibility of life, this can cause lots of stress as well. And definitely the personality traits, which is part of them are nature and nurture. Okay, so some people are perfectionists, they want everything to be perfect, so definitely they will face some stress trying to make everything perfect where perfection doesn't exist. Workaholic, controller, عايزة أتحكم في كل حاجة، challenger، بتحدى نفسي، بتحدى الناس الآخرين طول الوقت، فده برضو بيخلق ستريس جوانا، أو الناس الدراماتيك. So these are the internal stressors. فاحنا شفنا ان احنا البريشر اللي ممكن نواجهها في حياتنا او الستريسرز ممكن تبقى external او internal، ولو بصينا عليهم هنلاقي انه whatever are the pressure that I'm facing او demands that I'm facing, they fall into two circles. عندنا two circle، عندنا circle of control and the circle of concern. The circle of control هي كل الاشياء والافعال والاحداث والايفنتس اللي بتحصل حواليا that I can control. والcircle of concern هي دايرة الاهتمام اللي هي كل الحاجات والأشياء والأفعال والناس اللي I cannot control، ما أقدرش أتحكم فيهم، لكن بتاخد كتير من تفكيري، بتاخد من تركيزي، بتاخد من طاقتي، إن أنا بحاول أغير فيها لكن مش هقدر أغير فيها. فلو بصينا على الستريسرز أو البريشرز اللي احنا بواجهها في حياتنا هنلاقيها إنها يا في الدايرة دي يا في الدايرة دي. لكن أغلبية البريشرز اللي بتجيب لنا ستريس هي اللي احنا موجودة في السيركل اوف كونسيرن، بنحاول إن احنا نتحكم فيها لكن مش هنعرف نتحكم فيها عشان مهما عملنا we cannot change it and we cannot control it. The more we stand in the circle of concern and the more we stay there, we feel that we are weak, we are helpless, there is no real opportunities in life, everything is out of my control, so I feel like a victim to the situation, to the events that are around me, and this is when I start to feel very much stressed. But if I go back to the circle of control, and the only thing that we have control over is ourselves. Okay, it's our actions, reaction, behavior, perception, our thoughts, our emotion. This is what we can control. So the more we look and we help our clients to look at all the pressures and the demands that they face in our life, standing in their circle of control, the more that they will feel empowered, the more they will feel strong, the more they will feel that there is opportunity for change and opportunity for growth. Okay, so once we stand in the circle of concern and we look at our pressures from outside, the question that we need to ask ourselves or to ask maybe our clients is ايه اللي في ايدك تعمله دلوقتي؟ Okay, فلو بصينا على all the answer that you have answered regarding when you went on the Mentimeter, it was like the COVID, my children education, money, the future, my family, my financial situation. So ask yourself in this situation, what I can do right now, or what is in my capability right now. اللي في إيدي أعمله دلوقتي. But the more we try to change things that we cannot control, change the system around us of education, or change, or just thinking about the future a lot, this is in the circle of concern, or thinking about the past a lot and feeling guilty for some things that we did, we start to feel stress and we feel that we don't have control over these things. And this definitely will make us feel weak and disempowered. So once we are in a circle of concern, three things that we can do. It's either to ask ourselves if there is something that I can do. لو في حاجة ممكن أعملها أغيرها, then change it. Okay, there are three things. If you can change something, change it. If you can help your client change it, then help him to change this. If you cannot change it, then accept it. Okay, because sometimes acceptance comes as an action after. If you cannot change something, you need to accept it because it's not in your circle of control. And acceptance has a big process of changing and changing your perception, understanding your emotion, and so on. I'm not going into acceptance a lot. But the third point as well, if you cannot change it, you cannot accept it, then let go. For example, لو حد قاعد في وظيفة بيشتكي منها طول الوقت، لو تقدر تغير حاجة غيرها. لو ما تقدرش تغير الحاجة دي, accept it as it is. If you cannot leave, but there is no other solution to it. But if the longest we stay trying to change things that we don't have control over, the longer we suffer and the longer we feel stressed and depleted. So we go back to the circle of control and check how can I change my perception? How I can change the stories that are going on in my mind regarding this situation? How can I change my emotion? How can I change my reactions? And definitely the more we stay in the circle of control, the more we expend our energy and the more it grows, and whatever is there in the circle of concern start to diminishes. So I want you to take like 2 minutes and think about, write a list of everything that is consuming your thinking, focus, and is causing you stress now. Okay, so please, if you have a paper and pen, just write down a list of everything that is consuming your thinking, focus, and it causing you stress. Okay, whoever is writing on the screen, please write it on a piece of paper next to you. فكل واحد بليز يفكر ايه الحاجات اللي هي دلوقتي بتستهلك تفكيره، بتستهلك طاقته، وبتوتره، وبتخلق له ستريس، واكتبوها كده. Just have a list of whatever is stressing you right now. Thank you for erasing it. Okay, the next step is to look at your list, and ممكن نرسم الدايرتين. You can draw the circle of control and the circle of concern and try to list them. Where are they? Okay, a list that you have written, is it in the circle of control or in the circle of concern? Maybe some items are there and some items are there. Just كده try to understand that. حاول تفهم everything that you have written, where do they fall? فالحاجات اللي هي في التحكم بتاعك اللي انت حاسس ممكن تتحكم فيها اكتبها في دايرة التحكم، دايرة الكنترول. والحاجات اللي انت شايف مش قادر تتحكم، ممكن تكون فاكر انت مش قادر تتحكم فيها بس it's okay، اكتبها في دايرة الاهتمام او دايرة الكونسيرن. وبليز لو اي حد عنده سؤال اي وقت please unmute your mic and ask me. Okay, and now we'll go into a breakout room for 10 minutes. هقسمكم into breakout rooms, and then you will everyone will share what can you do to expand your circle of control. يعني لما ابص كده على my two circles ايه اللي انا اقدر اعمله فعلا so I can get ان انا ممكن ادخل الحاجات اللي هي في دايره الاهتمام ادخلها في دايره التحكم. ازاي ممكن من خلال ان انا اغير تفكيري نظرتي البيهيفير. احنا عارفين انه في دايره التحكم is only me. So what can I do regarding الحاجات اللي في دايره الاهتمام و how can I expand my circle of control to create more energy. So if ممكن تاخدوا سكرين شوت للاكسرسايز ده and then you select one person from the group that then each room will explain what is a pearl of wisdom. I don't want you ان احنا ندخل في details of what you discussed, but what are you taking away from this exercise after that you have discussed together? How can we move the things from the how can we expand our circle of control? So I will stop sharing my screen and I'll put you into breakout rooms. Okay, so في message هتطلع لكم just accept it, and once you enter into breakout room ممكن if you don't know each other just for a minute introduce yourself, and then we will have 10 minutes for the exercise. Okay, so now you've received the invitation, please accept it. So we have Amna didn't accept the invitation. Okay, now she's there. Ayat. Do you want to join a breakout room, Farah?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
آيات سمعتيني؟
Ayat and NB7. I don't know who is NB7.
في رسالة لازم تقبلوها مشان تدخلوا على البريك اوت روم.
Yes.
آيات سمعتيني؟
Ayat.
They're supposed to be in what room?
Supposed to be in room 2.
Okay, you can send me there if you want. I wasn't, maybe I need to go because
Yes, I think so.
because there's only 2 people, right?
اسمعي اوكي لو انت سامعانا في دلوقتي invitation جاتلك ممكن بليز تروحي تقبلي الانفيتيشن عشان تدخلي بريك اوت روم.
مكتوب join.
Yes. And who is NB7?
I don't know.
Okay.
آيات شايفة الرسالة مكتوب عليها join؟ Actually, it's Ellen and Islam in the room.
It's Ellen and Islam. Yes, you can see the breakout rooms, huh?
Yeah. MB7. I really liked the 2 circles. It's really when you think about it that way, it's really cool. It's the first like deep breath that you take. Okay.
Okay.
Or something you can't, and how can I expand?
Yeah.
It's really good. So I told Islam because she has her camera off to take pictures while we are in a different picture of the presentation. So inshallah موجودين.
Sure. No, it's okay.
لأنه آيات ردت علينا. It seems like she can hear us.
Yes, she can hear us.
Maybe the connection, I don't know.
Is there a way that I can
Maybe, can you maybe
send her again? Send another request. I don't know how to do it. Can you do it?
Let me try. Okay. Ayat, yeah, move to. I'm gonna move her to one room and then bring her back.
And then bring her back, yeah. Hello عبد الستار سامعني؟ عبد الستار لو انت سامعني احنا في breakout room right now and I sent you a message so maybe you can join breakout room number 2. Yeah. welcome back. باسل بتحاول تقول حاجة؟ It's muted. Okay, welcome back everyone. So, okay. عايزين نسمع بقى منكم what did you do in the breakout rooms and what was your takeaway. Room now, in room 1, who's the one who's going to talk on behalf of room 1?
Yes, I can talk.
هيثم. اوكي تفضل.
هلا والله.
اهلا.
يا هلا والله. احنا كنا نتكلم انا الاخ خالد، عفوا باسل. نعم. ايوه. احنا يمكن عندنا موضوعين يمكن شبيهين شوي. موضوع اللي هو ان في قاعدين نمر بصعوبات على الجانب الوظيفي. يمكن هذا اكثر شيء كومن صاير في الوضع الحالي الان في العالم. وطبعا انا تكلمت الان انا بالنسبه لي موضوع المشي، عاده المشي هذه قاعده تحاول انها تفتح عندي مجالات معينه الان از كويك وين في مساله التفكير في فرص جديده، تفكير في وتغيير نمط الحياه. وهو ايضا تكلم عن مساله انه هو عنده توجه الان مساله انه يغير الكارير حقه او يغير التخصص، فبدا يرجع للماضي. يعني عنده هيستوري جيد، عنده ماضي جيد وكذا، وبدا الان منها يعني يضع الخطوات الاولى او التصور الاول. هذا اللي احنا كملخص بيطلع عنه.
اوكي، فانتوا حاولتوا اكتر تركزوا ازاي من خلال دايره التحكم ممكن اشوف تغيير في حياتي.
نعم.
اوكي، ثانك يو هيثم. اوكي، room 2. So I think it was Islam.
Yeah, hi, it was me and Alan. And
yes.
I think I'm going to have
Farah.
Alan and Farah. Yes, that's right. Somehow all the chapter people ended up together. Alan, would you like to do the honors?
Sure. So not sure this is a pearl of wisdom, but I'll give it a shot. Islam was the one giving the pearls. Or eliciting the pearls as a good coach.
I was shining the light on your pearls, Alan.
So there's some different areas of stress in my life, and what I've noticed about all four of the ones that I wrote down, which have probably decreased 4 points on a scale of 1 to 10 over the last 6 months, but is that they kind of overlap between the circle of concern and circle of control. So they kind of, they're not in one or the other area, but they're areas. For example, I was the one who put children's education.
Okay.
And there's a number of factors in that are under my control, and then there's factors that are not under my control.
Yes.
And so perhaps me sketching those out in more detail in terms of what I can do something about and what is up to the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Health and that kind of thing, and vaccine availability. There's nothing that I can do about those factors, but there are things that I can do at home in terms of tutoring and such. Mapping that out in more detail would decrease the concern and move me more towards a path to action.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and I can see that Maha is seconding, is typing that she feels the same way. It's overlapping between two circles, and definitely everything you will find that there are things that we can control and things that we cannot control in the same situation, like the example that you just mentioned. But what we need to do is the more that we focus on what we can control, okay, instead of maybe blaming the Minister of Education all the time, okay, this will cause lots of stress. But if we go back and see if I'm creating the right environment for my kids at home, what I can do, how can I tutor them, and so on, the more I stay there, you will feel that the stress or the impact of this event on you will go down. And this is mainly in everything. There is an overlap in all situations, but it's how we can take our clients to make them see the part that they really are in control of, so they feel empowered, they feel less stressed, and they feel that they can create a change maybe, or to accept, because there is a part that we need to accept as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Laraa.
Thank you, Alan. Room 3. So we had Khaled, Maha, and Walid.
Yes.
We were talking a bit about how you can expand your circle of control, then basically questioning our base assumptions. Like, for example, now with COVID, everybody thinks if you want to be healthy, if you want to be safe, you should not go out, particularly not with your family. But that is actually a falsehood, because what is true is you cannot go out at times you used to go out before, but you can change your time. You can go early in the morning. I mean, we're talking here very early, like Fajr time, or you can go very, very late if that is suitable within your family environment. Or something like what I and my wife has started. We go out, instead of going to the restaurant, we call ahead, we order a takeaway, and we take the stuff with us, and we make a small picnic with us. Normally not at places where we would stop, but in the circumstances, we still make an effort to go out and do something.
Yes.
So the frame where like safe or healthy is you can twist this and you can expand on your control circle.
Yes, definitely. So it's about finding ways to deal with what we cannot control. And then when you stay there a lot, you will find that there are opportunities that are created that maybe you didn't think about if you're always standing in the circle of concern. Thank you, Khaled. Okay, room 4.
Yeah, I was there. So we had a very good discussion and we came up with 3 things that can help. We were gifted to have a yoga teacher, also who's a coach also in the group. So she talks a lot about the calming techniques, working out with the body, positive visualization, mindfulness, simply focusing on the here and the now and make sure that the body is there with you, can expand the circle of control. The second topic is to take action on your concerns. Maybe you cannot solve all of them, but maybe you can do a little bit about some of the stuff, and that gives you a certain sense of control, and you move things into the good circle. And the last is to work with acceptance. So simply take out the things and really get clarity around things you just have to let go, which is a load on you. Those are 3 nuggets.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom and for doing this exercise. So what we were talking about now, it's how to handle our pressure, which is the first part of the equation. الجزء الأولاني من المعادلة إنه إزاي أتعامل مع pressure. So whenever I feel that I have demands, I have pressure, I have things consuming my thinking, I start to realize where they fall and what do I need to do. Okay, the second part is about the resource. Okay, it's how to increase the resources that will help me cope. ازاي اعرف اتعامل بالموارد اللي عندي عشان اتعامل مع الضغوطات، فازاي ازود الموارد دي. فايه المورد ده؟ الاول احنا عايزين نتفق انه كلنا عندنا ديماندز في حياتنا زي ما قلنا، والديماندز على مدى ال5 سنين اللي فاتوا بتزيد 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 مش بتقل، ومع الظروف اللي احنا فيها الكوفيد و the complexity of the market, the competition, definitely the demands will keep on growing. Okay, my question to you is your capacity going to increase at the same, it will rise at the same level of the rising demands? Okay, so the answer is yes, to a certain extent. Your capacity, قدرتك أو مقدرتك على مواكبة الdemands بتزيد لحد سن معين، لحد سن ال30. After 30, you start, especially your physical capacity starts to decline. Okay, you lose like half pound of your lean muscles per year and 1% of your cardiovascular activities, which is affecting your capacity to meet the demands as well, because we will see, and we will talk about this, your physical energy is the foundation of all other energy. So you end up with a gap. Okay, the demands are growing, your capacity is declining, so you have a gap. So what we used to do to close this gap is that we used to depend on time. Okay, we used to work harder, faster for a long time so we can close this gap and meet the demands and meet the pressures and meet المتطلبات بتاعتنا في حياتنا, whatever they are. We were, but there's a problem with time, that time is limited. الوقت محدود جدا، عندنا 24 ساعة في اليوم، 168 ساعة في الأسبوع. الوقت that is external فالريسورس دي برانا فthis means انه it's not in our control. With time مش ممكن يتجدد, we cannot renew it. If time goes by then we cannot get it back. So we need to depend on another resource to be able to close this gap and to be able to meet the demand, to meet the pressure in a better way, so the stress goes down. And this resource that I want to talk about is energy, الطاقة. And I'm not talking here about the energy of the universe, but I'm talking about the energy that you have inside of you, the energy of the human being. And why energy? Because energy is inside, and when we say inside, then it is in our control. Okay, it's unlimited. Energy is known to be unlimited. It can be renewed and expanded if you know how to, if you will take some tips and know how to do it. So you can have energy anytime, and you can build this resource so you can face the pressure, then the stress will decrease.
سوري بس ما في صوت عفوا.
الصوت راح لارا. سمعتنا لارا؟ اكتب لها تشات. لارا سمعتنا؟ I sent her a message. Maybe she's frozen. Okay. Lara? Lara سمعتنا? You're on mute. You are on mute.
Okay, now I'm unmuted, but before you didn't, yeah, ما كنتوش سامعيني?
لا.
Okay, for a long time?
Not too long. Maybe the slide that you started with. The last slide you started.
So this one?
The energy, yes.
Yes. So I was talking about.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about in Nahna, this is the resource that we need to depend on, okay, because it's an internal resource. It's a resource that we have control over, and it's unlimited, and we can expand it and renew it. So according to physics, energy is the capacity to do work. So if we have more energy, then we have more capacity to achieve. So if we learn tips about how to fill our reservoir with energy, okay, then we can have more capacity to perform, to achieve, and to be more productive. Okay. أنا مش شاكة إنه أي حد on this call has the competencies, that you have the skills, that you have the knowledge, the talent to perform. But sometimes we feel that we cannot give our best because we don't have the energy to put this into life. Okay. So it's exactly like a car. لو أنا عندي a Ferrari, okay, the best engine, the best tires, person, okay, and it's a good car, but it doesn't have gas inside, so it will not be able to perform its duty. Exactly same with us. If we have the best talents, but we don't have this energy inside, we will not be able to perform at our best. Okay, so if we go to the example of the car, up till now a car بتحتاج one source of energy, either it's gas or electricity, but it's one source of energy. The human being is a bit multidimensional, it's a bit more complex. We need 4 sources of energy to operate at our best. فلو تخيلنا انه جوانا في بطاريه، البطاريه دي متقسمه ل4 خانات. اوكي، عشان البطاريه بتاعتي تبقى مشحونه to the maximum، ال4 خانات لازم يبقوا متقسم. Each section has to be fully charged. So what are these 4 compartments that are my internal battery? هما physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, and spiritual energy. So if I try, if I learn techniques or tips or ways about how to manage my energy, the 4 different dimensions of energy, then I will be fully charged and I can perform at my best. Someone can tell me now, okay, I play sports every day, my physical energy is amazing, I meditate, I play yoga, whatever. Very well. This is only 25% of the energy. So this means that you have a potential of 75% more that you can increase so you can be 100% fully charged. So if now you're performing well at 25, then you can really perform better and better and better at 75% with more 75%. Okay. So before we start, عايزين نعمل كده an audit to check كل واحد فينا الباتري بتاعته مشحونة قد ايه. I will ask you some questions. وعلى كل سؤال الإجابة بتاعته yes, just put a mark. Okay, just put a mark. Whenever the answer is yes, just put a mark. Ready? Okay. Is this true for you? I don't get 7 to 8 hours of sleep and I often wake up feeling tired. Okay. يعني مش بنام ل 7 ل 8 ساعات وغالبا بصحى من النوم تعبان. لو yes, put a mark. Okay. I usually don't have breakfast and often settle for something that isn't healthy. مش باخد فطاري الصبح وفطار is like something healthy, not only to grab something كده on the go, but something healthy. If this is true, mark a yes. I don't work out enough at least 3 times per week. مش بتمرن at least 3 مرات في الأسبوع. I don't take regular breaks during the day and I often eat lunch at my desk. مش باخد breaks during the day وممكن أكون باكل بسرعة أي حاجة وأنا قاعدة على مكتبي. I frequently find myself irritated, anxious at work, especially when there is high demand. نفسي متوتر وعصبي مرات. I don't spend enough time with my family and loved ones, and when I am with them, I am not really with them. يعني I can spend lots of time with my family, but I'm not really with them. I'm not giving them attention, I'm not really with them. I take too little time for the activities that I most deeply enjoy. بقول ان انا بحب السفر، بقول ان انا بحب الكورة، بس مش بقضي وقت كتير بعمل الحاجات دي. I rarely stop to show my appreciation for others and celebrate my achievement. قليل لما بقف وبوز وappreciate الناس اللي في حياتي وان انا to celebrate what I وابص على انجازاتي. I have difficulty focusing on one thing at a time and I am distracted easily during the day. ما بعرفش أركز في حاجة واحدة وبلاقي نفسي distracted في خلال اليوم بين كذا حاجة. Spend much of my time reacting to immediate demands rather than focusing on activities with long-term value. طول باخد المتطلبات السريعة المطلوبة مني ومش بركز على الحاجات اللي ليها تأثير على المدى الطويل. I don't take enough time for reflection, putting plans and thinking creatively. مش باخد وقت كفاية للتفكير وإن أنا أحط plans للمستقبل وزي ممكن أفكر بإبداع. I work in the evening and on weekends and I rarely take any vacation free of work, and I guess everyone here it's a yes because a vacation free of work means no WhatsApp, no emails, nothing. Okay, I spend too little time at work doing what I enjoy most and do best. I spend too little time at work doing what I enjoy most and do best. There is a gap between what I say is important in my life and how I actually live. Like I say maybe that family is important, but I'm all the time working, I'm not present at home. So there's a gap between what is important and how I live. My decisions at work are often more influenced by external demands than by a clear sense of my own purpose. I always do whatever is asked of me all the time. مش ببقى aligned my purpose أو الهدف الأسمى بتاعي. بلبي طلبات سريعة and that's it. Last question. I don't invest enough time and energy in making a positive difference to other or in the world. مش بقضي وقت كفاية أحاول أساعد بيها الناس أو أخلق impact على الناس التانية اللي حواليا. So please type in the chat box how many yes do you have? How many yes did you get? ممكن نفتح الشات بوكس وكل واحد يكتب النتيجة النهائية لليس كام. Okay. 12, 12, 3, 4, 7, 8, 6, 3 Islam, yes, only? Okay. 2 yes only? 9. Okay, so these are 16 questions. Okay, and this means that if you have 8 yes or more, okay, so this means that 50% of the energy, the potential energy that is available to you, is not currently available to you because you're not doing the right things that will make you charge to the maximum. Okay, so then you calculate where you are now. يعني كل واحد ممكن يحسبها. If you are 12, for example, you have 12 yes, this means that your battery is charged maybe at a 40 or 35%. Okay, I'm not good in math, okay? But if you're at 8, it's like a 50%. So this is the bad news, but the good news, this means that you can do things to charge your battery more. Okay, and this is what we want to focus on now, how to work around the 4 dimensions of energy to be able to charge our battery to the maximum. But why do we get such results? Why do we get a 10, a 9, a 12, and an 8, and maybe a 7 as well? It's because we take capacity for granted. بنفتكر إن احنا لو هنبتدي إن احنا we work faster, harder, more and more, إن احنا هنعرف ازاي to cope with the demand. But this actually doesn't happen. Our energy gets depleted and we don't know how to do it. So if we look at this quadrant, okay, these are 2 axes. The vertical axis shows the quantity of the energy, okay, is the high energy, and I have energy in my body or not, or low energy. And the horizontal one shows the quality. Is it negative energy or positive energy in state of emotions? So what I want to ask you is, how do you feel when you perform at your best? How do you feel when you perform at your best? If you can open your mics and just share with me some adjective emotions. How do you feel when you perform at your best?
Energized.
Energized, yes.
Fulfilled.
Fulfilled.
Motivated.
Motivated. Exactly, okay? So this is not news for you, but the news maybe for some of you is that you cannot perform at your best unless you are in this performance zone where you feel motivated, challenged, connected, joyful, fulfilled. You cannot perform at your best unless you are in these sets of emotion. But this is not where we are all the time, okay, during the day. During the day, we fall a lot into this quadrant, which is the survival zone, okay? And it's there for a reason, because if right now لو انت قاعد في البيت ودخل عليك أسد, or you have a fire in the building, you need to feel a certain set of emotions, so you fight or flight. Okay, but actually what happens during the day, maybe if we have a difficult conversation with someone, we have targets, we have deadlines and so on, we start to feel anxious, we feel fearful, we feel a bit resentful for the situation, and our body will react exactly the same way, okay? It will react exactly the same way, thinking that it is a real threat. So our vision will narrow, our muscle will contract, our our heartbeat will increase, the blood will run from the brain to the extremities, so we can fight and flight as well. So in that quadrant, you cannot really perform because you're not in the right state to perform at your best. And what happens when you stay a lot in the survival zone? You start to deplete your energy and you fall into the burnout zone. Okay, you fall into the burnout zone. And definitely in the burnout zone, it's not a zone for performance at all because it has low energy. And with low energy, you cannot perform. In addition to that, you have negative energy like depression, you feel helpless, you feel hopeless, you will burn out. So what do you think is the name of the 4th quadrant that is a bit ignored and we don't go there a lot? What do you think is the name of this quadrant that has positive and low energy? Anyone can guess?
It's change zone, maybe.
Change?
Yes.
Okay. It's not okay. It's not really change, but it is recovery. Okay, quite close. It's recovery zone. Okay, it's the zone that maybe sometimes we go if we are on vacation. Okay, we just want to relax, to do nothing, to be peaceful, to be tranquil. But what we need to do actually is to have a paradigm shift during the day. Instead of moving all the time from the performance zone to the survival zone, we need to move from the performance zone to the recovery zone so we can sustain our energy. So we need to work and then recover, work and then recover. And this is what we want to explore in the 4 dimensions of energy, how we can do this paradigm shift, how we can be in the performance zone, and to minimize the time that we go to the survival zone, because if we go there a lot, we cannot perform at our best. So let's check again the 4 different dimensions of energy. So we can start with the physical energy, and the physical energy, as I mentioned before, is the foundation of all other energies. Because if you are feeling tired physically, okay, if you have a flu, for example, you will feel that you're irritated, you don't feel motivated or aligned, and this is what it's aligned with your spiritual energy. You don't think clearly, cognitively, you're not operating well. So physical energy is the foundation of all other energy, and it has 4 components: nutrition, fitness, sleep, and recovery. Okay, so once you look at the first thing, which is nutrition, okay, it's about maintaining and sustaining glucose at certain level in your body. So eat right. And I'm not going to spend much of time here talking about eating right, but it's about having a balanced meal, having nutritional breakfast in the morning, drink lots of water, avoid sugar and salt. So it's very important to monitor your nutrition and your diet. Other thing, حاجة تانية اللي بتأفكت our physical energy is fitness. احنا our body is designed ان هو الجسم بتاعنا يتحرك، جسمنا لازم يتحرك طول الوقت. We're not designed ان احنا نفضل قاعدين. And there is a British study that has been conducted, and they show that people اللي اتمرنوا during the day, their mental and social skills have increased by 79%, ability to deal with stress by 27%, ability to meet the deadlines by 22%, time management by 72%, motivation 41%, and their concentration level increased by 21%. And definitely we know the importance of exercising, that it moves oxygen to all parts of your body, it processes insulin, it elevates the symptom of anxiety and depression. So it's really important at least 3 times per week to exercise. وفي ناس بتقول I don't have time to exercise, move your body. So instead of ان انا ارد على التليفون لو حد قاعد جنبي في المكتب, I can walk and go to this person and talk to him. I take the stairs instead of the elevator. So you can be very creative in how you can move your body. The third component of the physical energy is sleep. Okay, and this is how you end up if you don't sleep enough. Okay, احنا كلنا we take sleep for granted, and we think that if we will sleep less, we will have more time to perform the task that we need to perform. Okay, but actually what happens is, if you don't sleep well, the task that will take 1 hour can take up to 2 or 3 hours more, because you're not in the right cognitive, you're not in a healthy cognitive state that will help you to think and act and behave. So I want you to type in the chat box, how many hours of sleep do you get at night? كم ساعة do you sleep at night? Okay, 5 to 6, 7. Yeah, deep sleep is very important, Alan. 6. Okay, 95% of the population need to sleep from 7 to 8 hours at night. Okay, 2.5 they can sleep less, and 2.5 they can sleep more. But this is the norm that we need to get. We need to get from 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day. And there's a study that has been conducted in الناس اللي بتنام only 6 hours per day. After 2 weeks, they will be exactly operating as if someone has been deprived from sleep for 48 hours. So just think, if you are deprived of sleep for 48 hours, how would you be dealing with your colleagues? How would you be dealing with your loved ones? How you will be thinking, performing, and how productive will you be? Okay, so the right thing is to sleep from 7 to 8 hours per day. And there was a study done in the University of Chicago. They got rats where they deprived them from sleep. After 17 days, they died. And they deprived them from food. And after 17 days, they were just hungry. But this shows how important sleep is to our body. It is as important, or maybe more important, than food to our body. Okay. And the last thing that is part of physical is a recovery. Okay. A recovery, what you see here is سباق عربيات في الفورمولا 1, والسؤال is العربية اللي بتكسب السباق هي العربية اللي بتجري أسرع وقت continuously non-stop? Definitely no, because as you know إنه في سباق العربيات there is something called the pit stop. Okay, they stop for some seconds and it's around 10 to 15 seconds. The record was 2.5 seconds. They change the wheels, they put gas, they change maybe the windshield, but it prepares the car to go back to the race exactly as it started at the beginning. And this what makes all the difference is the pit stop. Okay, so what we need to do as well is to have pit stops in our life. It's not about working continuously without taking breaks. Okay, it's about working and then stop to recover. Work and then stop to recover. It's exactly like running a sprint. Okay, the difference between a sprinter and a marathon is that the marathon keeps on running. They don't see the end line and they keep on running. But we need to have a sprinter mentality. It's about seeing the end line, put all your effort, your energy, and run to the maximum and then recover. And studies have shown that people who work for 90 minutes and then they recover, they are 48% more active and creative at work. And when I say recovery here, it doesn't mean that if I'm working, for example, on writing a report or I'm having a session with a client, is that after my session, I go and I check my emails and I check my WhatsApp. No, recovery is completely disconnecting physically, mentally, and emotionally from whatever I was doing. So it's like maybe going for a walk for 10 minutes, closing your eyes and meditating, doing a breathing exercise, listening to music. So the more you recover, the more you set yourself to start as you started at the beginning of the day. So it's all about the work-rest ratio. So to sustain performance, we need to balance the energy expenditure with the energy renewal. And some of the things that is really, really helpful is a breathing exercise that you can sit still, you just inhale, hold your breath and exhale. And definitely all the time, the exhale has to be longer than the inhale. So if you inhale to the count of 3, you hold your breath to the count of 2, and you exhale to the count of 4 or 5 or 6. So if you do this exercise, like every 90 minutes, you recover, your physical energy starts to recover. Okay, so these were the 4 components, 4 مكونات للphysical energy: nutrition, fitness, recovery, and nutrition, fitness, recovery, and sleep. Okay, so now we move, yes, sleep. Okay, now we move to the emotional energy, and the emotional energy is the most contagious energy in a group or in a system or in a family or in an organization, because I cannot expect my team to be in a good state, okay, and I am always angry, anxious, frustrated. So it's directly related definitely to our performance. فاحنا بنفتكر ان if we are hit with a negative emotion, okay, some people think that maybe I cannot change it. Now I'm angry, leave me alone. Now I'm angry, now I'm anxious, now I'm fearful. But we can change our emotion by changing 3 things. We can change our emotion by changing our physiology, our focus, and our language. So the physiology هي الطريقة اللي أنا بستخدم فيها جسمي. اوكي، الشخص المكتئب هتلاقي إنه الشخص ده مشيته بطيئة، مش بيبتسم، عينيه لتحت، كتافه لتحت، تنفسه بطيء. أما الشخص الموتيفيتد، المبسوط، الهابي، الفولفيلد، هتلاقيه ماشي أسرع، كتافه لفوق، مبتسم، في energy في جسمه. ف once you feel that you're hit by a negative emotion, just change your physiology, because mind and body are interconnected. So whatever you will change outside, your brain will translate it that it is a happy sign. So if you just smile, okay, this smile gives signals to the brain that this person is happy, and then start to react the same way. Change your body, move, and change your posture, change the way you're sitting. So first thing is physiology. Second thing to manage your state is the focus. Okay, what you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on negative things, you will expand this negativity inside. If you focus on positive things, you will expand this positivity inside. So definitely when we're working with clients, we need to understand where their focus is going. Are they all the time focusing on what is not working in their life? Or to shift their perspective to what is working as well? Are they only focusing on the past where they cannot control it, and the future, they have anxiety and fear, or you're taking them back to the focus on the present? So it's all about where I'm focusing. because as I mentioned, that what you focus on expands. So we need to focus on what will really help us to move forward and be more productive in life. And the third thing that affects our emotional state is the language or the meaning that we assign to situation. المواقف اللي بنتحط فيها بنديها معاني كتيرة، بمعنى ان ممكن حد يتحط في موقف صعب ويقول انه فور اكزامبل ربنا بيعاقبني على الموقف ده، ونفس الشخص بيتحط في نفس الموقف بس بيقول انه ربنا بيتحداني عشان اكبر و develop and grow and learn. So it's all about what are the meanings that my client or I am using and I am assigning to situations. Okay, so if you change the three things, you can change your emotional state. And one thing we need to understand as well, or definitely most of you know, that there is a relation between the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act. So if we have negative thoughts, definitely we'll have negative feelings, and the negative feelings will generate negative behavior, and the negative behavior will lead me to have negative thoughts, and we will enter into this that will never end. So we need to break it somewhere. So not to be in that negative emotional state, and it all starts with how we think. And the المنبع or the seed of our thoughts are our beliefs. And we know as coaches that one of the things that is we need to work with our clients is the limiting beliefs or the disempowering beliefs that they have about themselves, other, and life. So to go and to break the cycle of the negativity of thoughts is to go always back to the beliefs and see what is the belief that is generating this thought and work on the disempowering belief and turning them into empowering beliefs. Another thing that can boost our emotional energy is gratitude. Okay, gratitude is the antidote of fear. مش ممكن يبقى عندنا امتنان في حياتنا ويبقى عندنا كمان خوف من حاجات. فالامتنان بيساعدنا ان احنا نشوف كل الحاجات الكويسة في حياتنا. an exercise of gratitude every day of listing what are the 5 things that you're grateful for, and not only stop here, but also ask yourself why. Because when you start to dig down, why, it fills you with positive energy and makes you feel how grateful you are for these things in your life. Also to create a culture of appreciation. Okay, so whatever is the organization that you are in or any system which involves people, always appreciate people that you have in your life and say thank you to them, because this will boost the emotional energy, not only the emotional energy of the person that you thanked, but also your emotional energy. Because when you say or you send an email thanking someone, you feel good. So creating this culture of appreciation is really important to boost the emotional energy. Definitely acts of kindness, like smiling, like helping others, like listening, deep listening, and giving attention to others. And connection, of course, is something very important to boost our emotional energy, because we are beings that strive on love and connection. And definitely with what we're going through, we don't meet our loved ones a lot. We need to stay in contact and feel connected with them in different ways. Okay. Not last, the third dimension is our mental energy. And mental energy here, it means the focus of your energy. ما تقدرش ان انت to perform at your best لو انت مش مركز في حاجة واحدة في الوقت الواحد. يعني I cannot perform at my best if I am distracted in many things. So your energy has to be focused on one thing at a time. And with the distraction that we have all around us, it became very, very difficult to focus on one thing at a time. With your mobile next to you, with the kids at home, with your laptop that pops up email notification and all the notification that you get, it becomes really difficult to focus. But to enhance productivity and to maintain your mental energy, you need to focus on one thing at a time. But we think sometimes that multitasking is a talent, okay, that I can do this and that. Okay, only 2% of the population can multitask. And multitasking is a myth. As you see here, in this graph, that person A looks simple. Okay, he's not multitasking. He's doing one thing at a time, but he's getting result. And person B looks busy because he's multitasking. Okay, he's answering the phone, he's writing an email, he's talking to someone next to him, but he's really wasting time and there is no results. So what happens is instead that you're giving 100% of your power and quality to something, you're just giving, if you're working on 3 tasks at the same time, you're giving 1/3 of your quality, 1/3 of your time, and 1/3 of your focus to this. So definitely the result will not be the same. And to experience this, I want you to invite you to do a small exercise. If you have now a paper and a pen next to you, I want you to write, let's start together, okay? Don't start unless I tell you. You will write on the first line, multitasking is a myth. And on the second line, you will write from 1 to 20. And that's it, okay? Ready? Okay, go. It's not a race, just اكتب بسرعة العادية. يعني it's not a race. At your own pace. On the asking is a myth. On the second line from 1 to 20. And when you finish, just type done in the chat box. Okay. 20 seconds, 22 seconds, okay. Okay, we will do this, we will write the same thing, but we will do it in a multitasking way. Okay, we will write one alphabet and then one number, one alphabet and then one number, okay? So you will write the same thing, but you will do it in a multitasking way. So you write an M and then a 1, a U and then a 2, okay? Okay, we can start now. And when you finish, type done. هنكتب حرف، هنكتب حرف ورقم، حرف ورقم، حرف ورقم لحد ما نخلص كلمة multitasking is a myth ونخلص ال 20 رقم اللي تحت. "36 seconds. Second, okay. So أسرع واحد did it in 36 seconds. Okay. ولسه في ناس بتكتب. What you see here is that you took more time. You made more errors for sure. It's not the same quality. It's not the same handwriting maybe. And it stressed you more. Okay. So multitasking, we're not designed to multitask. What happens is that our brain switch from one activity to another in fractions of seconds. So it depletes your mental energy. So to be able to perform at your best and to contain your mental energy, you need to focus on one activity at a time. And some of the things that can help you also in preserving or maintaining your mental energy is to start every day in the morning with the most important things in the morning. Don't keep it at the end of the day, okay? Because this will always consume your thinking. It will always make you think about that thing. وهتخليك على طول مش مركز في الحاجة اللي انت بتعملها. So start in the morning with the most important things in the morning. Always have a thinking pad أو نوتة بتكتب فيها الأفكار اللي هي بتجيلك. Whenever you have an idea, write it down, because at the end of it takes time and it depletes the mental energy if you go back every hour. Yes, I had this idea. What was it? And you start to recall the ideas again. Another thing is, when you're working on something, block the time for this. If you will work, for example, on writing a report, say I will block 15 minutes and I will work on this 15 minutes, remove all the distraction, give your focus, have this sprinter mentality of seeing the end line 15 minutes, fully focused, and then recover. Recover means it's completely disconnecting, doing something else, but block time. You can also have like a priority list of what is important to you during the week or during the day. You can have a to-do list that can help you also as well. You can anticipate your internal needs, because like 50% of our distraction comes from our internal need. Am I hungry? Okay, do I need to drink? So what are your internal needs? Anticipate your internal needs, your sleep. I need to sleep. So you can exactly focus on what you're supposed to do. Last thing is our spiritual energy. And the spiritual energy is the big why, okay, the purpose. And it's the energy that is derived from the sense that what I do has meaning and purpose. It's the energy that is derived from serving something bigger than myself. So the more there is alignment between what I say is important to me in my life, and the more and the more there is alignment between what I say is important and the way I live, the more I have this spiritual energy inside of me. And definitely as coaches, we know that the most important thing or the foundation of any human being is the values. What are the values of this person? Okay, what are my values? Because under stress or under big demands or big pressures, we are pushed to take decisions, and if they're not aligned with our values, we will feel that we're depleted spiritually. So that's why when we work with clients, it's very important to know, first of all, what are their values, because based on their values, their action, their decision, and what's coming next, if it's not based on this, then we're depleting their spiritual energy. They're doing something against who they really are. So it's like the roots that is grounding them, is pulling them down, it's making them standing strong. So understanding the values and living these values, which is creating virtues that will make me live my values more, is it's a way of boosting your spiritual energy. And also having a mission statement in life, okay? Because it reveals your ultimate purpose. It's the most powerful tool for personal navigation throughout life. Yes, I'll take this decision. Yes, I'll do this. No, I will not do that. And it's the single greatest driver of engagement. Whatever I do, I'm really engaged in what I do if it is aligned with my mission statement. And it tells you exactly how to invest your energy, and it creates commitment to whatever you do. Okay, how to create a mission statement is to think about how would you like to be remembered, and what are the values that you want to live by. What would you like to be able to say about yourself at old age when sitting on a rocking chair and looking back at your life? Okay, what are the important things that I want to live, that I live, that made me happy? What does living a thriving and meaningful life look like to you? So once you have clear what are your values and your mission in life, and you live in alignment with this, the more there is alignment with how I live, the more I have more spiritual energy inside. And definitely in addition to the meditation, the prayers, helping others, and so on. So we are beings of habits, and whatever we did yesterday, we'll keep on doing tomorrow and after and after. So to see any change, we need to create rituals. And this is what coaching is about, is how to take the client into action. It's about how all the awareness that he got, how to put it into action. So if we don't develop rituals to manage our energy, we'll never feel a change. So I invite you maybe after this call, to think about what are you going to do differently regarding your physical energy, your emotional energy, your mental energy, your spiritual energy, that can help you enhance the resource that you have inside of you, which is your energy. So we talked about the stress, and we talked about this simple formula that stress occurs when the pressure are higher than the resource, and how to handle the pressure through the two circles, and how to increase my resource, which is my energy, through the 4 dimensions of energy. So by here, I'm ending this presentation, and thank you all. And I'll open now, please unmute your mics if you have any questions to chat a bit.
Thank you so much, Laura. That was a great presentation.
Thank you, Alan.
Talk for another 2 hours, for example, about the spiritual energy dynamics and mission and purpose and values, but thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Really.
Definitely. Thank you. So if you have any questions, anyone?
It's Peter here. I actually do have a question. Thank you very much. It's been very insightful webinar. I'm just thinking about these 4 aspects of energy. Would you say it's better to have the 4 energy squares or part of the circle in balance? Or is it better that one is at the maximum and maybe some of that are lower? So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, that's a good question. But I believe that the balance is good, but the balance will never be balanced like you will feel that it's balanced, because there is nothing that can say, yes, this is a 25%, this is a 25%, this is 25%, it's 25%. But it's to have a mix of all of them. But definitely I will not be spending all my life doing sports, for example, focusing on my nutrition, my diet, and only monitoring my thoughts for just 2 or 3 hours during the week. So it's the balance between them, but the specific ratio is not really clear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please feel free to unmute yourself, join the conversation if you have a comment or question.
May I add a comment, please, here?
Go ahead.
Yes, Walid.
Thank you, Laraa, for an amazing presentation. The 4 dimension of energy, I used to use them as a goal and the planning module, which was the qalb, aql, ruh, and jasad.
Okay.
So this is a new perspective for me to see him like an energy pillar, not only a goal settings or planning tool. I'm believing in this 4 quadrants. And if you see my in the back, I have sticky notes for these 4 quadrants. I always read them every day to remind myself what are my goals in these 4 aspects. So it's a good perspective, a new perspective for me to see him like an energy pillar. So thank you, Laraa.
Thank you, Ari, for sharing. And I'm really curious to know about your perspective as well. So maybe we can connect later.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you. Okay, any other question or any thoughts or input?
Okay, so I was reading the other day that successful people will work under and they will perform very well under any circumstances or regardless of how they feel. So how does this fall into all this today?
Yeah, definitely successful people are the people who will be able to manage themselves under any circumstances. Like how do I manage my perception, my feelings, my emotions, my behavior under any circumstances. So it's like, bring it to me, I can handle it. But if they don't have the internal tools that will help them to do this, then they cannot be listed as successful people, because we cannot perform at our best without being in the right emotional state. Even if they do, this is not their best, okay? They can give it much more, but someone who's angry all the time, who's fearful all the time, who's anxious all the time, even if they're performing, this is not their best, okay? So successful people are about, yes, how can I manage myself under any circumstances? And this is about how to manage my energy, how to work with my pressures and demands.
Or probably learn how to shift this into something positive, and so they can perform better. It's just learning how to shift it maybe faster than others,
yes.
I would say.
Yes, the agility and flexibility in doing this as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Laraa,
Okay.
this was amazing. It was a great webinar, a great benefit, and we've learned a lot. I also have to praise the way you switched between Arabic and English a lot. I know it must have been a little bit stressful. So thank you so much. You've done it really well.
Thank you. Thank you, ICF Saudi, for this invitation. And really, it was a pleasure to be with you all. Thank you very much, Farah.
It is our pleasure to host you today. Thank you all so much for coming. And we look forward to seeing you in other events for the chapter. And good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. It's good to see you all.
Thank you.